In the world of the NBA, there are moments that have changed basketball forever. Dunks that make the entire arena erupt. Highlights that rack up millions of views. But there are a few stories you won't find in any official video, on any YouTube channel, or in the league's archives. These are tales of the craziest dunks that live only in the memories of those who witnessed them. Grab your popcorn and enjoy the show on Beyond the Buzzer NBA Stories.
It happened in the late 90s, a time when cell phones were rare, and not every NBA game was broadcast nationwide. The Orlando Magic were hosting the Chicago Bulls. There were less than 10,000 people in the arena because it was just another regular season game, nothing special. On the court was a young, explosive Orlando forward known only to the team's die-hard fans. His name often faded among the stars, but he had one special gift, a wild, almost supernatural leap. According to legend, even Shaquille O'Neal would say after practice, "That kid jumps higher than anyone I've ever seen." In the third quarter, with the game losing its meaning, suddenly there was a steal. Our hero raced down the court on a fast break, a Chicago defender on his heels. And then, just inside the paint, he took off not just for a dunk, but for something unbelievable. He jumped right over the defender, flew another meter, and bam! Slammed the ball with such force that even the backboard nearly shattered. The crowd froze, the referees were stunned, the opponents in shock. The commentators just screamed into their microphones. Viewed it was the late 90s, there were only 3 cameras in the arena, and at that very moment, none of them caught the angle. One cameraman was on a timeout, another was turning the lens, and the third just didn't have time to focus. All that remains are eyewitness stories, fan drawings on old forums, and legends passed from one person to another. Did you see that dunk? Yeah, I was in the stands, and I swear it was something unreal. For years now, NBA fans have argued whether it was real or just a myth. Someone once found a photo of the leap, but it's blurry, and you can only make out a silhouette in the air. That dunk became a myth. It made its way into lists like 20 craziest dunks in NBA history, but you still can't find it in any video. Only legends, only words. Maybe that's why it's the greatest of all, because even in a world of endless highlights, some stories live on only in the memories and imagination of the fans. There's an old story whispered among longtime NBA fans, a story about a dunk so powerful, so shocking, that it was nearly erased from memory by a twist of fate. It was the winter of 2002. The Sacramento Kings were hosting the Portland Trail Blazers. The rivalry was always fierce, and the energy that night was electric. But halfway through the fourth quarter, with both teams locked in a tight battle, something incredible happened. The Blazers' young forward, a player known for his relentless energy but still a relative unknown, snatched a rebound and took off down the court. 3 Kings players gave chase. In a blur, he sprinted, dribbling with impossible speed, the crowd rising with every step. As he reached the paint, he launched himself upward so high it seemed gravity had lost its grip. With both hands, he prepared for a thunderous dunk, and just as the ball slammed through, the hoop the entire arena went dark. A sudden blackout, total silence, broken only by the faint echo of the rim rattling and the gasps from the crowd. For nearly 30 seconds, the arena was shrouded in pitch blackness. When the lights flickered back, fans were shouting, pointing, hugging each other in disbelief. The Kings players stood in shock. The Blazers bench went wild. But the moment the actual dunk was lost to darkness, the arena's cameras froze. The television broadcast went dead for half a minute. No one caught the dunk in full. All that remained were stunned memories, half-recorded audio, and a handful of blurry photos snapped from the stands in those chaotic seconds after the lights came back. To this day, people argue about what really happened. Some say he shattered the backboard, some say he nearly hit his head on the rim, some claim he dunked over 2 defenders at once. But there is no clear footage, no YouTube highlights. Only those who were there that night truly remember, and even they aren't sure what they saw. And so, the night the lights went out lives on as an NBA legenda moment that exists only in memory and myth, forever fueling debates about the craziest dunks the world has never truly seen. People still talk about that day, even years later. In August 2005, the heat in Las Vegas was so intense you could feel the asphalt melting, even in the shade. But inside the gym, it was even hotter a secret camp, packed with future NBA stars and seasoned veterans. No distractions, just basketball. Just pure, intense work. Practice was fierce. The floorboards creaked with tension. The air was thick with sweat, rubber, and the scent of big dreams. Then came the turning point. A young, electrifying point guard took the ball, cut hard to the right, and accelerated. Defenders closed in. The coaches shouted, "Stop!" But he couldn't be stopped. In a flash-on fake, he beat the first defender, then the second. Boom! Everyone froze. He rocketed toward the hoop, defenders desperately leaping to block him, but time seemed to slow. And then came the moment people would talk about for year 7, those who'd seen hundreds of NBA games. He hung in the air, the ball seeming to glow in his hand. He soared over 2 opponents, and then, boom! An explosive dunk shattered the silence. The whole gym, dozens of players. Even the coaches erupted in cheers. Someone fell off the bench, others grabbed their heads, some just stood and applauded. It seemed even the AC stopped for a second. Everyone realized they'd just witnessed something extraordinary. Someone tried to grab a phone, but cameras were strictly forbidden. No video, no photos, just stunned shouts and wild applause echoing through the gym. Did you see that? That wasn't just a dunk, that was an explosion. That moment belongs in the NBA Hall of Fame. Ever since, this story has lived on in locker rooms as a kind of magical legend. Some players still argue about who jumped higher, others add new details to the tale. Some say the ball left a mark on the backboard, others swear the ground shook during the dunk. So, if you ever hear a coach say, "Watch closely, legends aren't always born on live television, but right here, among friends, in the middle of real action," remember this story. Because sometimes, one crazy moment at practice can stop time and stay in your heart forever. Spring of 1998. NBA playoffs, Eastern Conference semifinals. The atmosphere was electric. Every game was pure gold. The Indiana Pacers against the New York Knicks. The score was tied in the final seconds. The crowd was going wild. On the Pacers roster was a young forward with a last name almost no one could pronounce. He wasn't a star or a media personality, just a true workhorse, a defender, a rebounder, the team's quiet hero in the locker room. And then the final play of the game. All eyes were on the superstars, but suddenly the ball ended up in this forward's hands. Without hesitation, he powered through 2 of the Knicks giants, took a step into the paint, sword and right in front of a packed arena, threw down a dunk like nothing they'd ever seen before. The ball crashed through the rim, defenders hit the floor, and for a split second, even the commentators were speechless. The fans were ecstatic, his teammates were jumping for joy, but at that very moment, something incredible happened. The main television cameraman who was handling the live broadcast accidentally switched the camera feed to the crowd, searching for a celebrity in the stands. For a few seconds, millions of viewers saw only the audience, and the main moment of the game simply vanished from the airwaves. Those who were in the arena would tell the story for years. That was the most powerful dunk I've ever seen in my life. The press called it the player's career moment, but in all the playoff highlights and recaps, it was missing. Only memories remained, a few blurry fan photos, a clipping from the local paper, and eyewitness accounts. A few years later, the player retired, never becoming a big star. But among Pacers fans, he's a legend. His forgotten dunk became a symbol that not everything in great basketball is preserved on video. Some moments live only in the hearts of those who were there.